Hey now, this is Glenn from 3D Squared. Today we will discuss the 8 essential steps for designing a successful home theater. Before we get started, we should note that we realize that home theaters come in a variety of sizes, shapes, styles, and budgets. Your budget may dictate that you don't need to go through all 8 steps. However, you would ultimately benefit from what you can learn from each step, so sit back and enjoy. Okay, so let's get started. The first step is your budget allocation. You need to determine how much you want to spend on your home theater. Once you establish your budget, think about how you want to allocate your funds. We suggest dividing your budget into 3 categories: your AV equipment, interior decor, and chairs. Determine how important each one of these categories is to you and allocate a percentage to each one. For example, if your primary goal is to create an amazing looking room, then you may want to allocate a greater percentage of your budget to your decor. So before you contact anyone, you should have a good idea of what and how you want to spend your budget on. Step 2 is to determine the dimensions of your room. This step is typically only applicable to new construction, but if you have an existing room, you may have some flexibility in how you can lay out your theater. The most important element in determining your dimensions will be the number of chairs that you want. You really don't need a good deal of space beyond your chairs, certainly not on the sides of the chairs. Perhaps an extra 5 to 8 feet behind your rear seats for a bar or counter setup. A nice sized room for 2 rows of 4 chairs would be about 14 feet by 21 feet. By the way, try to avoid a perfectly square room. Acoustically, this is the worst shape to have. If you have the freedom to be extremely precise with your dimensions, there are several golden ratios that you can use as a guide to your theater dimensions. Using the height of your room as the base figure, the ideal width would be about 1.6 times the height, and the length would be 2.6 times the height. So for example, a 9-foot ceiling, your width would be about 173 inches, and your length would be about 250 inches. Now we understand that most people don't have the freedom to build such precise dimensions. And that's okay, because your acoustic treatments will cover up any flaws inherent in the shape of your room. Now that you have a general budget and room size, you should now consider the equipment for your theater. The screen size is very important to your overall theater experience. The optimal viewing distance is about 1.5 times the diagonal width of the screen, so a larger room will require a larger screen. If the room isn't too long, don't purchase the widest screen available because you will be seated too close to the screen. For your surround speakers, we recommend that you use in-wall or ceiling speakers so they don't interfere with your theater design. These can easily be hidden behind acoustic panels and will not interfere with your design concept. Consult with your local AV dealer to determine how to maximize your AV budget based on your AV priorities. In step 4, we'll focus on the design of your theater. This is the fun part of the process. You should ask yourself a few questions. Do I want a modern or traditional design? What is my general color scheme? Do I want to feature acoustic-friendly prints or basic fabrics on my acoustic panels? Many people think that their designs should complement their home decor. If you feel comfortable with this approach, then you already have a head start in terms of the colors and style of the room. However, you may want to consider turning your home theater into a fun room that can highlight your passionate hobby or interest. Your theater can feature your love of wine, sports team, music group, Hollywood, outer space, undersea, any particular city or landscape, or anything else that you would love to share with your family and friends. In terms of your overall acoustic panel layout, do you want a design that features wall-to-wall panels or floating panels? Floating panels will have wall space surrounding them. Since there is not as much square footage of floating panels, they are less expensive than wall-to-wall panels. It is also much cheaper to install them. At this point, we need to talk about theaters with a smaller budget. Don't be afraid of designing a home theater if you don't think you have an adequate budget. For a few $1,000s, you can create a great looking room by including a series of decorative acoustic panels with a few attractive wall sconces. In step 5, we'll formalize your design concept. It's now time to start making your theater a reality. If you have a decent budget, you should certainly consider budgeting for a formal design package. This package should include floor plans, elevations, chair layout, sightline study, construction drawings, and electrical layout. During this phase, careful analysis of your room construction, HVAC, and AV equipment is analyzed and integrated into your theater design. If you have a limited budget and less detailed theater, your theater designer should be able to provide dimensions and locations of the chairs, acoustic panels, columns, lights, etc. However you get to your final design and documents, you should be confident that your design you chose fits comfortably and logically into your unique room. Hopefully your design is still within the budget you established in Step 1. Step 6 takes us behind the walls. All the essential elements of your theater should now be fully analyzed and documented. You can now begin planning the initial stage of your installation. This focuses on the internal wiring of the speakers, lights, and projector. This can segue into installing your lighting control and AV equipment. For an existing room, you may choose to move wires to the proper locations for your sconces, speakers, and overhead lighting. Once your wiring is completed and your walls are closed off, you can begin construction of the riser, stage, and soffit if they are included in your design. Some theater designs may require the installation of sophisticated sound control products in the internal walls. These products can be used to enhance the sound in the theater and to keep the sound from leaking into other rooms. In Step 7, you'll be installing your home theater interior. Once the initial phase of wiring and construction is completed, you can now install the theater decor products. We recommend installing the carpet before any other interior element. Then you can install the moldings, columns, acoustic panels, decorative elements, and perhaps a curtain or even an awesome looking fiber optic ceiling. When these are completed, you can then install your chairs. If your theater designer did a good job analyzing and documenting the sizes and locations of all the elements, the installation should go pretty smoothly. However, if your design includes wall-to-wall panels, it is very important to use an experienced installation crew. Very few rooms are built perfectly square. Therefore, the crew will most likely need to adjust the panels and/or moldings on site. So make sure your crew is capable of doing this in the field. Step 8 is to tweak and enjoy. Now your theater seems to be complete. However, the acoustic panels, chairs, moldings, and columns affect the way the sound moves throughout the room. Your AV dealer needs to tweak your equipment so it performs at peak levels in the finished theater. Once you are happy with the results, it's time to dim the lights, sit back, and enjoy your wonderful new home theater. If you have any questions regarding your home theater design, please visit our site at www.3dsquared.com and have a great day.